Hello everyone, welcome to our final lesson in unit number 2. Today we're going to be talking about whole, half, and quarter rests. Now, I like to do this very similar to the way that we did note values by drawing a rest value tree. So at the top of that tree, can you draw this shape for me? I'm going to exaggerate the size for now, but just match what I'm doing. So we have the line and the box hanging from it. This is called a whole rest. So very similar to a whole note, a whole rest is worth 4 beats. So anytime you see the music, that means we have 4 beats of silence, right? Note means sound, a rest means silence. Now I can divide it evenly into this shape. It's the opposite, right? So we have the line on the bottom and then the box on top. This is called a half rest. And each one is worth 2. So this is worth 2. This one over here is worth 2. 2 plus 2 add up to 4. Okay? If we divide it again, we get this shape, which is kind of like a squiggly, a refined squiggly, right? Maybe a backwards 3. This is called a quarter rest, or each of these are called a quarter rest. And one of those is worth 1. So 1 quarter rest equals 1, 1, 1, 1. 4 of them add up to a whole rest. 2 of them add up to a half rest. Okay, and if we go one further, we have an 8th rest. Now this one starts with a dot, looks kind of like a little fancy 7, right? So we'll draw a few of those. Okay. These are called 8th rests. And an 8th rest, just like an 8th note, is worth half of a beat. So it takes 8 of them to add up to a whole rest, or it takes 4 of them to add up to a half rest, or 2 of them to equal a quarter rest. Okay, so whole rest, half rest, quarter, and 8th. Next thing I need you to do is to draw a staff, because we need to see, these have special places on the staff. So we want to make sure you know where they go in relation to actual music. Okay, so we'll put a 4-4 here. We won't do the clef. Remember, the 4s tell us things about the music, right? 4 beats per measure, and then we have, this tells us that the quarter note equals 1. So if I add a measure or a bar line and a bar line to create 2 measures, we might need more. But this whole rest, right, whole rest, see how it's hanging down from the line? If we put it into a piece of music, it always hangs down from the 4th line. Always. It can't be on any other line. It has to hang down from the 4th line. Right? So if you mess that up in the future, I'm going to have to take points off. But just know that. Right? So a whole rest hangs down from line number 4. Half rests, they are sitting on top of a line. They always sit on top of line number 3. Right? So whole rest hangs from line number 4. And a half rest sits on top of line number 3. Right, I'm going to extend my staff out so we can see these other rests. Do 2 more bar lines. Okay, now if I want to put quarter rests on the staff, we start up here above line number 4, and they just fit in like that. Not looking for perfection, but that's what they would take. Now, so far, each of these add up to a full measure, right? A whole rest equals 4, right? So it gets 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each half rest gets 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then each of these gets 1 beat by itself. Now, the 8th rest, I'm not going to fit them all in this, I don't really have enough space, but if we were drawing it, it starts in space number 3, and goes down to space number 2. Right? Now that's only worth half of a beat. Half of a beat. So I'll put the 1 there. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll explain what it means later. But that's what it would take. So 2 of those add up to 1 full beat. So we need 8 of them to fill up the full measure. Okay? Here are the exercises. So take a second, pause your video, work through them yourself, and then we'll come back and do them together. Okay, question number 1. Fill in the correct number. So it wants to know how many of the first thing does it take to equal the second thing. So 2 half notes equal 1 whole note. That's what we need. How many quarter notes equal half notes? Same thing, 2, right? 1, 1 adds up to 2. How many half notes add up to 4 quarter notes? You need 2 there also. And then how many whole notes equal 4 quarter notes? You need 1. All right, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, fill in the correct number, but using rests. So we have a whole rest as the first one, that equals 4, and then 2 half rests. So 1 whole rest equals 2 half rests. How many half rests equal 4 quarter rests? Take 2 of them. How many quarter rests equal a half rest? 2 there. And how many quarter rests equal a whole rest? You need 4. All right. Question number 3. Trace the second quarter rest and draw 4 more. So we'll do that. We can trace it. And mine's not quite as pretty. Right. Same thing here. Trace the half rest. We'll fill that in. It's hard to do it with my marker, but we get here. Now, make sure that whenever you're drawing half rests and whole rests, that they're not touching the opposite line. They only touch the one line that they belong to. Okay, here's the whole rest. Draw a few more of those. Question 6. Divide the staff below into 4 measures with a double bar at the end. So let's do the double bar. All right, thick one and then a thin one. And I like to start in half. Half it again and half it again. So there's A. Add a 4-4 time signature. So we'll do that at the beginning. Fill in the first bar with a whole rest, the second bar with 2 half rests, third, let's do one at a time. First bar with the whole rest, so remember that hangs from line number 4. Alright, second bar with 2 half rests, so those sit on line number 3. Third bar with 4 quarter rests, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fourth bar with a half rest and 2 quarter rests. So half rest, right, sits on line 3, and quarter, quarter. There we go. That's the end of this unit. Hope you have a great day, and as always, if you have any questions, let me know.